BBVA has filed in its 17 billion euro takeover bid for the rival lender Sabadell. The offer was accepted by just over a quarter of shareholders, representing Sabadell shares short of the 50% needed to take control and the 30% threshold for a possible second bid. BBVA says it will now resume dividend and share buyback plans in the coming months. Charlotte has been following all the twists and turns when it came to this potential consolidation story. Charlotte, it seems it's the end of this saga. What next for BBVA?
Yeah, an 18-month saga, a bit of battle that ended up with a war on words, and it was very hostile since May last year. But this failure from BBVA to take over a smaller rival, Sabadell, and that was a surprise because to a certain extent, analysts were watching really where in the bracket between 30 and 50%, the take-up would be, and how much cash then BBVA would need to buy to make that secondary offer. But they didn't get even to that 30% threshold, and we had an indication earlier in the week that maybe that would be the case when they mentioned, Sabadell mentioned that some of their customers that were also shareholders, that the take-up on this front was only 2.8%. So, there was already giving an indication that maybe it would be a steep uphill for BBVA to get to the threshold. And now, of course, you remember it's been a highly politicized battle. The Spanish government put some stringent conditions on the potential tie-up, including not full merger for at least 3 years, not 5 years, therefore raising questions on the synergies that BBVA were mentioning as well. And to kind of show that, you had some reaction from the political scene in Spain last night after the result came out. You had the Deputy Prime Minister saying this was good news that the tie-up was not happening. You have the President of the Catalonia region saying that the outcome it confirms that what we have always defended, a banking system adapted to the reality of Catalonia and its business fabric, because of course Sabadell is a Catalonian entity, and the question of this entity being taken over by another Spanish bank was kind of problematic in the region. So again, now for BBVA, well, it is a big blow personally for Carlos Torres, the chair of BBVA, who has been, of course, spearheading this tie-up. But he says that BBVA looks to the future with confidence and enthusiasm. He will not resign from the bank as well. So they are restarting their pending share buyback of around 1 billion on October 31st, and that they will make and launch a significant additional share buyback as soon as they get the authorization from the ECB. So we have to wait and see. What we heard from BBVA, what we saw is that their US shares jumped last night after the news. But certainly, this is a blow because part of the strategy of BBVA of taking over Sabadell was going to reduce their reliance on some of their Latin American business as well, that's sometimes seen as more volatile. So that was part of the strategy there. So again, they will have to talk to investors on what is the next step for BBVA. But finally, the end of this saga after 18 months of bitter battle.
And just more broadly, it is actually the second banking deal, domestically speaking, that is failing so far this year. Charlotte, thank you for breaking it down for us.